Hello and welcome. You know what time it is if you're seeing Betya on your screen. It is 5 p.m. Central Time, and it is happy hour. Welcome to Monk and Lose Happy Hour. This week, we are going to be going through all 12 fights from a gambling and DFS perspective for UFC London, headlined by Alexander Volkov and Tom Aspinall. But first, Lou, how's it going, bud? Are you looking forward to this card?
I am. I always like the early start time since I'm a soccer fan.
Yes.
I'm used to getting up at 7:30 in the morning watching sports anyway, so this will blend right into it. Just want to go over the gambling recap from last week, if I may.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
I had what's up, War Dog? I had the Nchukwi over 1.5 as a pick for the show. I did not bet the fight, but the over 1.5 hit. I had Guido Canetti round one knockout at 12-1. And that's smashed. And I had the other 2.5 as a backup. That hit also. Had Cody Brundage to win. I had his sub prop at plus 650. That hit. I did have him round 2 sub. I don't know why I couldn't have waited an extra minute, but that was a pattern. That was a pattern in a lot of my round bets this week because I missed by a minute on him.
Right.
Miranda Maverick, I had her in a parlay. I had her in the distance. That hit. I had her by submission. That hit. Yep. I had a round 3 sub. Again, if Mazo could have hung on for a little bit, maybe we got that one. Damon Jackson sub at plus 400. That hit. Round 3 sub did not. The Javid Basharat fight, I had him outright. That hit, but none of my other props hit. I had him in the distance sub, round 3 sub. He just, it was weird. He just never even really was that close to getting him out of there. JJ Aldrich's decision, that was a win. And then I had AJ Fletcher, looked great in the first, but hats off to Semmelsberger, really good second and third. That's a loss. Bruno Silva in the distance, I am shocked that fight, how much was I sweating the Brundage bet? Not as much as you'd think because I didn't think he was going to do it in the first. He was getting manhandled, but Dalcha traditionally the second round. I mean, it was still scary. Like Dalcha's a scary looking dude, but it's kind of a surprise win. But I've been on the other end of that so many times that I'll take it. Had Drew Dober in the distance. That hit very, very. You want to talk about a fight? I was sweating. That was a scary 3 minutes. I had him round 2K out. Never got there. I had Carl Roberson, fight doesn't go distance, that hit. I had the Yambag shot, that did not hit. I had him by sub, and good Lord, did he get brutalized. So not even close there. Sadiq Youssef was in a parlay, that one. Song Yadong KO won. The round 2 KO did not. And then Ankalaev in the distance lost. Round 3-4, round 4 lost. It's a terrible, boring fight. But profitable week. Solid with props. Solid with most of the picks. I was just shocked the Silva fight did not, that it went to the judges. I mean, I think Pereira decision was plus 900 for those brave enough to have taken it.
Yeah, that was probably the craziest outcome of the entire night. I had a very decent DraftKings night, actually, especially in cash. So that worked out pretty well for me. And we will continue on and try to give you guys some good pointers and some good lines for this week. We'll go ahead and get started, Lou. First fight of the night, we have the UFC debutant Muhammad Mokaev going against possible douchebag Cody Durden, and I feel okay saying that. Mokaev, I'm a stat guy. I have no stats for this guy. He is $9,100. That is a terrible salary to play for the most part on DraftKings. It does win 78% of the time, but it only makes the optimal 22% of those wins. That said, I will be favoring the Mokaev takedown upside and submission upside over Durden here, so I will have him rostered absolutely. I was kind of high on Durden earlier, but just going through the week, I just like this guy less and less every second that I think about him. He does have a good pace, 4 points a minute, scores only 93 points per win, has a very good takedown pace, 1.35 points per minute. So my whole thing is who's going to be able to get their wrestling off in this fight. If you think it's going to be Durden, well, he's pretty much on sale. He's $600 off of his average salary, and Mokaev is pretty expensive for a UFC debutante. But, I mean, you got to think you want to see Durden kind of get his face smashed in. At least I do. That's kind of the vibe he gives me. I'd like to see him with his, getting choked out or something. So I'm going to be on Mokaev here this week at 9,100. I will have tempered expectations. I like a lot of the 9,000 guys a little bit better. What do you think about this one, Lou?
First of all, the Punisher is just fantastic nickname. Like, I mean, just on that alone, I'm on the Mikhaev side. I mean, you worry about a debutant, and especially one who's a big favorite. So on the Durden side, we haven't seen too much from him. I mean, Flick got him with a, the Macho Man flying elbow guillotine, and he was tiring against Arichi Lang. He's aggressive early, first rounds when he's most dangerous. But I mean, I'm not even sure he's going to have a great first round here. The problem with the Mikhaev, unless you want to put him in a parlay, which, look, there's a lot of chalky parlays out there this week. So typically, like, what I try to do on the show is give you things that are not, just try to give you options and get you maybe some plus money action the way you can. I think the best plus money bet here, I like the round 3 decision prop on DraftKings. It's plus 150. Unless you're worried about an early Mikhaev smash, which is certainly in play. I think the round 3 decision prop, I feel like it's all right, especially if Durden does come out hot in the first. I think that's a viable, to get him at plus 150 is not bad. Also this week, since we are in England, I'm retiring the Yambags bet for a week. And this week it will be replaced by the proper Rogering play of the day, which is a point deduction bet. And this is one of the 2 fights I have picked as a point deduction. The reasoning being is if it's going to be grapple heavy, which I believe it will be, and Durden has not so great cardio past the first. And also, like, let's be honest, I feel like he's kind of a scumbag that would love to cheat.
Right.
I could see him grabbing the fence on a takedown. I could see him going for an eye poke if he's tired. I mean, a lot of fighters like that delay tactic. And you're getting point deductions are being called more and more frequently. Not by a ton, but refs are smart to that now. The guy's doing that to get a delay in the fight. So not super confident in it, but hey, proper Rogering is a proper Rogering. And I like that at plus 2,000. For at least a small tickle here, a little bit of extra interest. Maybe Durden gets the point deduction and then gets crushed in the third. Proper Rogering, Jack.
In it?
Sorry, Jack, if my accent is, this is not in my like tight 5 for comedy, the British accent. So I apologize in advance for the attempts.
I tried to get Lou to do the whole show in a British accent with me. I would have joined him, but I think no one would have liked that, so we kind of abandoned that idea.
And to all my British fans who watch Arsenal games at the pub, even though I detest Arsenal as a soccer club, I will just say, come on, City. And I am not a City fan. That's just the one thing that they like to say more than anything else there. So all my British fans in Pennsylvania, like, there you go.
I just blazed through the F1 show on Netflix, as I always do. I don't even watch F1, but that show's amazing. And now I just go around the house saying, get in there, Lewis. Get in there, Lewis. We will go on that note, my terrible impression. Corey Poppins McKenna, that's a very interesting nickname in the nickname game. Going against Elise Reed. Corey McKenna. Actually, Lou, I'm going to let you go ahead and start this one. McKenna's 8,800, Reed 7,400. What kind of lines do you got on this?
Well, it's weird because, it was not a good week for United, but that's okay. So McKenna's a big favorite here, but there's just not there's not a lot of tape on either one. Like, I mean, Reed has, I think, 5 fights. McKenna has 7. I do like the Poppins nickname while we're sticking with that trend. There's just not a lot of actionable tape on either one. What I do like here is, I mean, the last time we saw Reed, Sarge was just, abusing her on the ground. I haven't seen Reed look like she's able to stop takedown, and McKenna is now a team alpha male. So you got to think that's 90% of what she's been working on. Her path to the victory is on the ground. If you want to put her in a parlay, I think a decision isn't out of the question, but the sub prop at plus 650, I got to think, especially with early takedowns and 15 minutes of control potentially here, that sub is very, very live, especially at that camp. So if you got to get those odds down, I think the sub's worth a poke. But again, if you want to throw McKenna in a parlay, you got to be careful of these chalky parlays. But I feel like she is one of the safer plays in terms of having a clear path to victory. What do you got?
I liked the McKenna side early in the week. The more I think about it, the more I'm going to be fading both sides for DraftKings. This is one where Elise Reed, she did fight up, and I believe on short notice. So she fought up a weight class against Eubanks. Is that right? And then it
Yeah.
was on short notice. So this is her actual weight class. She's got a full training camp. So I don't know that McKenna's, she's obviously very young and only 1-0 in the UFC. So I don't know if she can go out and indeed get that finish. Reed showed absolutely nothing. Like you said, Eubanks completely smashed her. I'm just going to get into some salary voodoo here quick. 8,800 is one of the worst possible salaries you can play. I don't know why that's the case. I don't know why it's not 8,900 or 8,700, but 8,800 is god awful. It does win 71% of the time, but it makes the optimal only 21% of those wins. It's just a salary that does not make it. That mixed with the fact that I think McKenna this fight probably is going to go to decision. If she does get a sub, I don't assume it's going to be in the first round. So I don't think she scores the best. She did put up 83 points in her win, and that was against Kay Hansen, unanimous decision. Very close fight. Computer Monk thinks Kay Hansen, in fact, won the fight according to the metrics. So I just don't know how much exposure I want to put on a terrible salary, 8,800, and Corey McKenna in a strawweight fight. Strawweights do make the optimal lineup 50% of the time.
That's a wild stat.
Dude, it is. It's women's flyweights even crazier. But yeah, 50% of the time, I just don't think I'm going to be getting to very much of either of these fighters this week. I think I'm going with the salary voodoo, and I'm going to fade. I'd rather get to like, some of those other $9,000 range guys, and maybe a couple. Mike Grundy's at like 85. I can't remember the entire lineup here. Krylov's at 87, I believe. So I think Krylov has way more upside than McKenna in DraftKings. So I'll be fading.
You shut your whore mouth about Krylov.
It's just speculative. I like the Craig side, Lou.
We're not there yet, but
No, not there yet. I don't like that $8,700 salary either. These high $8,000 salaries and just under 9. So like the 87, 88, 89. I really don't like those salaries. It's hard for me to get to them for the most part.
It's tricky.
It is. Jack Shore going against Timur Valiev. I am super excited to watch this fight. Not so excited from the DraftKings perspective, even though the $7,600 and $8,600 salaries are fantastic for DraftKings. In fact, one of the best salary pairs that's out there. Jack Shore putting on a tremendous pace overall. 4.3 points per minute, 98 points per win. And he's only allowing 1.23 points coming back at him defensively. So very, very good numbers there. I mean, he's putting up almost 90 in his decision wins, 105 when he wins by sub. He's got the highest takedown pace on the entire card at 1.5 points per minute, 0.78 control time points per minute, and he's scoring almost 2 points a minute in striking. Basically, that's a long-winded way of telling you that Jack Shore does score extremely well in DraftKings. The thing is, he's going against a very high-pace Timur Valiev as well. This guy never stops moving. He's pretty much Clay Guida with shorter hair and a V at the end of his name. 3.86 raw DraftKings points per minute. Only scores 83.2 points in his wins, though. I was heavy on the Jack Shore side beginning of the week. I see Jack Shore at 7,600, and I'm freaking salivating like Sylvester the Cat when he sees Tweety Bird. But I just don't know. The more I think about this, the more I think it goes to decision. The more I think these guys kind of cancel each other out a little bit. I still think Jack Shore has the better ground game and definitely the better submission game. Valiev's Achilles heel, or should I say Achilles chin, 2.91 Chindex. His mother must have held him by that sucker when she dipped him in the water, because this guy has been knocked down 3 times in his UFC career, twice by Hayani Vaselos and once by Trevin Jones. That fight was overturned, ruled no contest because Trevin Jones, I believe, popped for weed. So Valiev,
yeah, what a crime.
Dude, he should be 2-1 easy right here. This shit is ridiculous. So I think I'm going to temper expectations here. I think these guys kind of cancel each other out. I lean that this goes to decision more often than it doesn't. And in that case, I don't think that either of these guys will hit triple digits. I'll probably be playing a little bit of both, but not as much as I usually would of this salary. What do you got for this one?
So before I give the pick, so you see this in Bellator a lot. When you get these cards, we're going to talk about Pimblett later and talk about McKenna. A lot of these fights, they try to do this to set up for the home, the home crowd. Like Bellator ran in Ireland a few months ago, and I believe Pitbull Patricky won, and and Gallagher lost, and so they try to set these up to make them fan friendly, and it just never goes the way you want. So I just can't stress enough, if you're doing these chalky parlays this weekend of what you think are hometown people, just be very cognizant of that fact that, not all the best plan, as there's an old Yiddish phrase, says, man plans, God laughs. So just be very careful. This is a very interesting fight. We know what Shore's going to do. I thought the Onama fight was just excellent. And I think even though Onama came in that on short notice, that win's going to age nicely, because Onama looks like he's got real explosive hands. He's got a good skill set. He can take shots. I thought Shore looked great in that fight. It was, a really fun fight. I don't know what to make of Valiev. The skills aren't in question. It's just, I'm starting to wonder if his fight IQ, it's not even just his chin, it's he's putting himself in bad spots. But
yeah,
I feel like this is going to be a really weird fight in that they're both going to have their moments. I think Shore will get takedowns. I think he's going to be outclassed in the feet. I don't know that Shore is not going to knock him out. I'd be shocked if he did. He could, but I doubt it. The Welsh are tough. But I'm going to play a little weird play here, and I am going to say that this goes to a split decision, and that either fighter to win by a split decision is plus 400. And the reasoning behind this is, the crowd might get involved. This is going to be that first fight where the crowd could be somewhat influential in the judging. But what this comes down to is, if Shore's getting takedowns but not doing a lot with them, how do they judge
exactly?
And each judge becomes a little unique that way. It becomes like, if he has 3 minutes of control time and doesn't really do anything, Valiev has good moments, it could go either way. I could see this being the first split screen you get for the night. And then you don't care who wins once you see that split screen. Once you hear Judge A calls it, just celebrate your win. So the plus 400, the plus 400 for either to win by split decision. Shore is plus 825 or 800. So I don't hate that, but I think this split decision is an interesting way to play it and fade the outcome completely in terms of a winner. So I'm going to take a stab at the plus 400 here.
I like it. I like that look, because honestly, like I said, the more I think about it, the more I think this goes to decision. Both guys are definitely going to have their moments, like you said. So I really like that play there, and you got a good number on that as well. Next fight of the night, calm yourself, Lou. Calm yourself. We've got Paul Bear Jew Craig going against Nikita the Miner Krylov. Two fantastic nicknames. I'm loving the nicknames this week. So far, anyway. We'll get to a few. Paul Craig, 7-4-1 in the UFC. Krylov 8-6. Why don't you go ahead and tell the people what you think about this one?
Bet against the Bear Jew at your own risk. You bet against him last time against Jamal Hill. Not a good night for you.
Nope.
And I was on the Hillside on that one. I liked what I'd seen from, and he made a mistake, and I don't know what he was thinking, and he'll never make that mistake again. Going down in the guard of
Plus now they're like best friends. It's such a fantastic
which is kind of cool. I think that's cool. It's how you grow in the sport. So we know what Craig is going to try to do. He's awkward on the feet. I don't think he doesn't really have much of a takedown game. He should just start the fight laying there. Krylov has more ways to win this fight. There's no doubt about it. Way better on the feet. Certainly no slouch in the grappling, submission game. But, this is a worry pick for me too. Again, I don't want to get political. Krylov's from the Ukraine. I'm tending to be very sensitive about betting Ukrainians against Ukrainians here. But I just can't go against Paul Craig. And I could almost envision the armbar from guard here is his winning condition, not a way to win. That's his winning condition. So I'm playing Craig sub. It's gone down. It was plus 450 earlier in the week. Now it's plus 350. So if you don't love that equity, I can understand it. And then I played 2 round props, which basically is going to tell you that he's going to win in round 2, because I took round 1 and round 3. I have Craig round 1 because Krylov has been submitted 5 times in the first, which means he just goes for it, makes mistakes. The round 3 sub, Craig has a few round 3 subs, most notably Ankalaev with 1 second on the clock. The buzzer beater sub. It's certainly in the realm of play when he gets it, but If you play Krylov here, I totally understand it. I think the knockout prop is good for him, but I just can't go against Paul Craig here. He's my guy, and maybe this is just my fault that I get locked into like the one guy I like the most on the card, and I just have to play him. But I think the round props pay really well, even plus 350 for the sub when he's not winning a decision here.
No,
because he's not a minute winner either. I mean, if he's playing from guard, he's losing every minute of that fight. So really, unless he gets a sub, I don't think you win. So to me, Craig sub is his money line. It's plus 350 in a fight that I don't. It's crazy to me that he's even that big of a dog. But what do you got? This seems like a must roster for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we said it. Everyone's pretty much said it during the week, but these two guys have a 97.62% finish rate in their professional wins. That's pretty much every single one if you're not good with percentages. Paul Craig, $7,500 this week, 2.8 points per minute, so not a big pace, only 95 points per win, but all these numbers kind of go in tune with exactly what you said. He's not really a minute winner. He's just always looking for advantageous ways to take your limbs from you when you least expect it. Nikita Krylov has more of a balanced game, I should say. He can stand on the feet. He has a ton of knockouts in his career, 11 wins by knockout. He's a tremendous DraftKings scorer, so that's why you have to be on both sides of this. Like I said, I don't like the $8,700 salary. It's probably a bit too high. This would have been the fight to have at 76 and 86. I'd play 100% of it. But Krylov, 7 of 8 UFC wins. He's scored over 100 DraftKings points, and he's given up over 100 in 2 of 6 losses. So tons of points flying around Nikita Krylov fights. You have to play both of them here. I was on Krylov at the beginning of the week, but I think, man, I'm just flip-flopping a bunch of these fights throughout the week, it seems like. I'm leaning Craig here. I absolutely loved his, I watched the ceremonial weigh-ins right before this. I love his walkout, his Braveheart, the blue face paint. The whole thing is just fantastic.
I was going to ask if you were going to watch Braveheart before the fights, because
I might have
that would be the time to do it.
As soon as we get off, I might have enough time by the time we're done with the show and the card actually starts to fit in Braveheart. So we'll have to see about that. But yeah, he has so much energy. What is he? 5 Okay, so he's 4-0-1 in his last 5. That's right. He had the draw against Hua,
which is weird because I don't know if he's improving. It's strange to say. I don't know if he's improving or not. He may just be what he is at this point, but he's getting matchups that are better for him, I think.
I mean, and lately in his wins, his scores does not reflect the sub 100 points that his average says. Against Mojeda, which is one thing, 119 points. He put up 118 against the rematch of Mauricio Shogun, and then 103 against Jamal Hill. I know that was a first round TKO. It was kind of, obviously it was a submission more. But I don't know, man. I kind of like Paul Craig here. I want to see him get it done. Also, that's why I became a stat guy. I wanted to remove my bias from all of this shit and just get the good information. Yeah, it's so difficult even with this spreadsheet. So I'm going to be leaning Paul Craig. I want to see him win. He has made the optimal lineup 1 out of his 1 fight since January 1st, 2021. But yeah, you must roster this fight. I'll quit flip-flopping and give you some advice. Must roster, play Paul Craig, play Nikita Krylov. I'll be higher on Craig because of the salary savings and the fact that I think he's going to win this fight. So with that said, we'll stop showering Paul Craig with love and get on to the heavyweight fight, the real heavyweight fight of the evening. No, I'm just kidding. Shamil Abdurakhimov going against Sergey Pavlovich. I'll go ahead and start this one off because I don't have a ton to say about it. 7,200 for Abdurakhimov, 9,000 for Pavlovich. I like Pavlovich to win. I think, honestly, he's going to get it done in probably the first round. Abdurakhimov has been KO'd twice in a row, I believe, 2 losses. Pavlovich, 5.51 points per minute. Now, this guy's only had 7.63 minutes of fight time in the UFC. That is 3 UFC fights, less than 8 minutes. So you really have to take that into consideration here. But Pavlovich, huge pace, scores 107 points when he wins, is going to be going for that first round knockout. Abdurakhimov, I guess you could classify him as a wily veteran, definitely a veteran, closer to 41 than he is to 40 at the time of this fight. But I just think he might be a little bit too tough. I'm hoping for DraftKings purposes. I know I just said I think Pavlovich is going to win early, but I'm hoping for DraftKings purposes that Shamil is a bit tougher than I'm giving him credit for and kind of weathers the storm here from Pavlovich. I do like the huge salary savings you get at a heavyweight at $7,200. Fantastic. Pavlovich has been KO'd once before in the past, so that is a possibility. But as I said, Abdurakhimov is, over 40 years old, does not score that well, only 2.14 points per minute. If you're on the Abdurakhimov side, I would be there to A, save salary, or B, possible cash play as a general fade to Sergey Pavlovich. But he just does not score well to be inserted into a ton of GPP lineups, in my opinion. Only 75 points per win, so you kind of got to fade that side of it. Pavlovich could get that early KO, so I will be rostering him at 9,000. I like guys like Gunnar Nelson more. I like guys like Ilia Toperia more, and even Makayev, I think. So we'll see how much Pavlovich I get. What do you got for this one?
Well, this is terrible for Shamil because on any other card he would have the best Tapology profile pick, and he doesn't.
Second best, Makwan. Oh yeah, okay. So
that's no one's beating Mr. Finland in terms of
I didn't
Tapology
picks. There.
So it's a huge mismatch. I mean, Pavlovich's head is like massive. It's like Stonehenge. This guy's head. It's like ridiculous. The skill set's not a question for me here. What I don't like is the layoff. He hasn't fought in 2.5 years, and for various reasons, and I don't love seeing that. But Shamil looks like he's kind of cooked at this point. His chin's starting to go. His last 3 fights have ended in the second round. He's lost by knockout twice, and he has a win in the second round. And Pavlovich is just a round 1 KO machine. So you could take Pavlovich round 1, round 2 at -190, cuts that money line down a lot. This thing goes in the third, like, God, we're all screwed at that point. But typically won't see that too much in a heavyweight fight. But
right.
I played him round 2 KO at +380, and this is a complete gut feeling. I think the layoff makes him a little rusty, and it's like I said, Shamil does not seem like he can go past the second at this point in his career. So if Pavlovich does take a little bit of time to get it going, he's getting him out of there in the second. The +380 is nice. I mean, he's not getting a sub. If he gets a sub, I mean, okay, then he got a sub. But like, I'm just playing the round 2 KO prop there. It seems like it's his path. If you want to go round 1, round 2 at -190, that's a decent parlay piece for me. But nothing more to add to this one. The layoff just makes me very concerned.
Yeah, the layoff and the fact that this guy's $9,000 after wins over Maurice Green. I believe he is the crochet boss. And then Marcelo Golm. Like, these guys aren't even in the UFC, I'm pretty sure. So I don't know. Abdurakhimov definitely has the more powerful name value as far as opponents go. So we will have to see on that one. But yeah, I'm much more excited for the other heavyweight fight of the night, obviously. But with that, we'll keep it moving. Speaking of the best picture on Tapology, we've got Makwan Amirkhani, Mr. Finland, going against Mike Grundy. Why don't you go ahead and start this one off?
This is an interesting fight because I think the loser's getting fired.
Agreed.
I think it's very possible the loser is getting their walking papers. Neither one has been super impressive. Amirkhani actually looked pretty good in the first round. Last fight against his name's escaping me.
Ron Murphy.
He looked great against Murphy, and then the second round he just walks right into a shot and good night, Irene. Like, that's all there is to it. They both really need a win. Grundy seems like it has. I'm glad my whole crew came out today. Grundy seems like he has better cardio, but it's like not by much. Maybe he has 10 minutes of cardio. I think there's going to be a ton of grappling. I bet this fight in 2 very strange ways. This will be your second proper Rogering play of the day. 2 tired guys that like to grapple. I mean, this could be like the first ever grab to the goalies, like that causes a point. I don't know if I was sure it's been done before, but it hasn't been done in a while. What I really like the most here is if you just take the fight to end in a submission one way or the other at +250, I think it's in play with the grappling. With the sloppiness that's going to happen at the end of the second. I think as soon as Amirkhani gets tired at the end of the second, like his neck's going to be exposed, back's going to be exposed. And then the third, all bets are off. I mean, who knows at this point? 2 very tired, desperate fighters. Weird things happen. Mistakes happen. And if this fight plays the way I think it will, I think Amirkhani is going to win the first. Grundy will get the second. It's going to be 1-1 going the third. It's going to get like super weirdly desperate. And I think the sub finish is, I know Grundy has some power, has some knockout ability, but
True.
I don't think that's, I just don't see the fight. Now, there have been times before when you get two submission grapplers and you end up getting a weirdly boring 15-minute stand-up battle because they respect the other one so much. Like, it happens. I just don't see it this time. I think it's going to be very grapple heavy. I'd lean Grundy just because of the perceived extra cardio, but this is going to be like a 30-27, 28-29. I mean, this could be like a really strange, if it goes to the judges, could be really strange. So I'm going to play the sub prop and just sit back and root for somebody to get chucked the fuck out. What about you?
This salary pair is the best one for DraftKings, with the winner making the optimal lineup 66% of the time. And we've got two wrestle heavy / submission heavy guys here, ground game guys. This is a perfect formula for me to say, put both of these guys in your lineups. No matter who you think is going to win, you have to roster both of these guys at this point. Even if one of them gets smashed and you're just throwing away salary, the other one should pay off with the amount of takedowns they're going to be going for. With the submission game, they're going to be going for reversals. You get points for those as well. All of these things are in play here. Neither guy scores a ton on the feet. In fact, less than 1 for Mike Grundy, 0.91 points per minute, and 0.69, how appropriate for Amir Khani in his profile pick, points per minute from on the feet for Amir Khani. So neither guy scoring very well at all. We know what they're going to do. It's going to be the battle of wrestling. I flip-flopped on this one too. I was going super chalky at the beginning of the week, thinking give me Mike Grundy at 8,500, and I wasn't going to have a ton of Makwan Amir Khani. But honestly, if Makwan can avoid getting kneed in the face and really disrupted cerebrally and stay in the fight, he has a decent shot, in my opinion, to not only get some top game and some control time minutes going, but also to possibly finish the fight. Both of these guys have been finished by sub in career, and both of these guys do look for that the majority of the time for their way of finish as well. So I tend to think this one finishes inside the distance. I think someone's getting choked out. I love this salary for DraftKings. You absolutely have to play this fight. I'll probably be pretty even as far as my exposure because you're not breaking the bank at 8,500. But I might have a touch more Amir Khani, especially in cash, just to save a bit of salary, get me to those $9,000 guys a little bit more. Speaking of $9,000 guys, one of my absolute favorites on the card this week, Ilia Toperia going against Jai Herbert, the Black Country Banger. I'll go ahead and start this one off. Toperia obviously undefeated, 3-0 in the UFC, 11-0 professionally. He is $9,300, $733 over his average salary, 3.58 points per minute. That is a top 10 pace on the card. Only scores 96.72 points when he wins. So that is a bit concerning, especially at that very high salary this week of $9,300. Jai Herbert, $6,900. I mean, I don't even know if I can take a punt with this guy. I'd rather punt with whoever is below him. Rodrigo Vargas probably at 68 over Jai Herbert. I just think that Toperia, if he even lands one takedown, this shit is probably over. Rear naked choke pretty easily is, in my opinion. The reason I'm saying on this, Jai Herbert, very small sample size in the UFC, but he does give up 1.47 takedown points per minute, 0.82 control time points per minute, and almost, 1.9 striking and knockdown points put together per minute. Guys, this guy's giving up points from everywhere. These numbers for takedown and control time are the lowest or highest on the card in a bad way. He gives up more points on the ground than any other fighter on the card. And look over here at Toperia, huge takedown number, 1.12 points a minute, 0.76 control time points a minute, can strike you, can knock you down. I love every aspect of Toperia here. I expect he gets it done in the first round, probably by submission, if I had to guess. 7 of those on his professional career, has yet to find one in the UFC. So with all that energy he's got this week, going after Paddy and whatnot, I assume he's going to be looking to choke out an Englishman. So give me Ilia Toperia. What do you got for this one?
I mean, there's not much more I can add to this. Short and sweet. Toperia should just smash him. I mean, Herbert's reward for beating Kamaworthy was going to get Mike Davis, which wouldn't have been that would have been much better for him.
Right.
This is not going to go well for him. Yeah, there are concerns, short notice, and maybe it's not his right weight class, but the skill set is just ridiculous. Topuria round 1 sub is plus 215, and
Wow.
sounds about right. I mean, that sounds, everybody was like worried about like Brahimaj because they're like, well, there are some issues, and then like he went out there and he just got the sub immediately, and honestly, if he even Herbert has some power, like I don't want to say he's like completely helpless.
Oh, he does.
But I mean, this is a very clear path here, and if if Topuria doesn't get a takedown in 20 seconds, start panicking because there's something wrong with the game plan here. But he gets him down once, it's over. I mean, and honestly, I know he's going to probably be like super. He might be the highest owned guy on DraftKings.
Could be.
I think his sub-minute finish is in play. If he gets an immediate takedown, I think that 60-second finish is very much in play here. But don't overthink this one. If you take him into distance, I think it's like -2. It's ridiculous. It's gotten out of hand. It's gotten away from
aggregate -245 right before.
Yeah, I mean, and I know and he's going to be another very popular guy in chalky parlays, but just take the round 1 sub or take the round 1 prop, which I'm going to tell you what it is right now. I wonder if it might be even money, like just the way these things are. Yeah, it's plus 110.
Jesus.
But I think that's still, that gives you the KO if you really want the back in there. But he'd be crazy unless he gets a ground and pound. He'd be crazy to stay on the feet. Why even chance it? So
Herbert's
round 1 sub, and then maybe we get closer to him and Mr. Pimblett.
Oh man, that would be nice, man. Can you believe Topuria, only 25 years old? Apparently, his brother fought, or I don't know if he was fighting, but his brother was trying to get someone was trying to get his younger brother to replace what's his face that was supposed to fight Nathaniel Wood.
Yeah,
Morales. So these guys apparently.
Well, I think he's already there.
Crazy
I think he's there. I think he's there with him, like for his.
Oh, that would make sense
for his corner, right? So
still, man, this guy's only 25. I mean, Herbert over here, 33 years old. That's not old by any means, but
he had to go through all the COVID.
The athleticism of Topuria just screams to me.
His brother had to go through all the COVID protocols, like just to get cleared to be in the corner. So that was another reason they're like, dude, we could expedite this like right now, and he can make weight. But I don't think Wood ever wanted anything but the Morales fight. I mean,
yeah, it makes sense. I wouldn't fight a Topuria on short notice. I don't care what his first name is. Next fight of the night, Molly Meatball McCann, possibly England's favorite fighter, going against Luana Carolina. Why don't you go ahead and start this one off, Lou? What do you got for McCann and Carolina?
So I'm not going to bet this one personally. I'm scared of this fight because I mean everybody's going to be on McCann and the crowd, and I get it. I do. I think people are seriously undervaluing Carolina here. She's got pretty good takedown defense. She's a huge reach advantage. She's not as high volume as McCann is, but I wonder if that will be different in this fight because with McCann being so aggressive, Carolina's output will have to improve. Like she'll have to up it just because of the pace of the fight,
or she'll get overwhelmed easy.
This isn't like the fight with Poppins, where takedowns are going to come easily and they're going to be plentiful. I think McCann could easily struggle in the first to get anything going, and Carolina's shown decent cardio too. So she can go a full 15 minutes and continuously defend takedowns. I might be placing too much stock in the fight against Godinez because I know Godinez came in on short notice, and went up. But man, she's showing some power. Her takedown defense looks pretty good. If McCann gets one in the first, look out. I mean, then it might be 15 minutes of it. But I'm staying away from this. I think the over is like -280. I mean, to me, there's just, and even if you want it, McCann's -140 right now. And if you want to take her by decision, it's +110. You're really not getting better equity to take that. I'm not playing it either way. This is going to be my break fight. Have a couple of adult beverages and move on to the next one. But I would guess I would side McCann, I guess, because of the crowd. But I'm telling you, those takedowns are not guaranteed in this fight. And her walking through 2 to land 1 shot, this is not a good idea against Carolina. Like, this is a horrible idea. So I wonder what your interest is. I can't imagine you're playing the Carolina side, but.
No, not at all. First, real quick, guys, chat, we love the fact that you're in here. Thank you for joining us. Please hit that like button. And if you are not subscribed,
do it.
And if you wandered in here off the streets, be sure to hit that subscribe button, guys. Molly McCann, Luana Carolina, big fade for this fight in general. I mean, if I'm playing somebody, I guess it's McCann. For the takedown upside, she has a much better pace than Luana Carolina, outscoring her by 0.25 points per minute. Scores 95 when she wins. Luana Carolina, I keep saying Carolina like a Luana Carolina, 75.5 points per win. Not a good number at all. You are getting both of these women just around their average salary, so you're not paying up and you're not saving a ton. They seem to be very appropriately salary this week, so that is good to see from DraftKings. The $8,400 salary wins. It is a favorite salary, compared to the 78. It only wins 48.89% of the time. In fact, both of these salaries, with fighters dropping out and whatnot, they don't always fight each other. Both of these salaries have a less than 49% win percentage here. So it's the battle of the losing salaries. The $8,400 does make the optimal more times than the 78. 50% of its wins compared to 45. So I guess if you're on the salary voodoo side, you could play the 8,400 a bit more. I'm going to be big fading this. Like you said, if McCann can get inside and take her down, which is not a guarantee, it would look good for McCann. A couple rinse and repeat takedowns, she could get a decent score. But that 7-inch reach and 2-inch height advantage from Carolina is really bothering me on the McCann side. So I just think this one is going to go the distance. I don't think either fighter is going to have a huge score, probably both under 90, 75 to 80. And so I will be big fading this fight in general. You can pay $100 less and get Aspinall, or you can pay $100 more and get Volkov. So That's where I would put my salary instead of this fight. So we will keep it moving. We are on the last
Monk.
What's that?
The split decision prop might not be so horrible here either. In terms of, much like the Shorvalia fight, is the person with takedowns doing anything with them? It could be very. It could get very interesting.
It could get dicey, like you said, with the hometown judges. But if Carolina lands more, looks better on the feet and is able to get up from takedowns, who knows how this one's going to go?
Yeah, it might be a how am I doing to that point in the night to say, do I feel like taking a stab on what I got to assume is at worst plus 400 for this?
Right.
But just something to consider.
Love this guy's name. We've been talking about nicknames all night. Marcus Mustard, alliterative, fantastic, absolutely love it. Welcome to the show, Marcus. There he is. Where have you been, Eric? Set that timer, boy.
I can't tell what's going on Instagram without Eric telling me
we have
what he sees on every fighter's Instagram.
He's our reporter on the streets, man.
He's killing.
Come on, Eric. Fourth to last fight of the night. I'm pretty excited about the return of Gunnar Nelson here, going against Takashi Sato. Let's see. I'll go ahead and kick this one off. I'm all over the Gunnar Nelson side. I don't think Takashi Sato has much of a chance. I know it's been 2.5 years since Nelson fought, but I'm very excited to see him come back. Does not have a good pace, guys, for DraftKings. 2.09 points per minute. Only scores 94 points in a win. The salary voodoo here is pretty good. 72.5% win rate for the $9,200 salary. And that makes the optimal one almost 35% of its wins. So very good for such a high salary. It's really difficult for these high salaries to make the optimal lineup consistently. So 35% is a good number we're looking for there. I just think that if, much like, who are we talking about? Toperia and Herbert. If Nelson even lands one takedown, which he should pretty much immediately, this is over. Rear naked choke. Takashi Sato, 3 sub losses in his pro career. 2 of those have come in his 4 fights in the UFC. I don't have the methods here. Maybe if Lou, off the top of your head, Baeza subbed him. Not sure if it was a rear naked or not. And then Muhammad subbed him as well. So
it was an arm triangle. It was an arm triangle.
Okay, so two
which was really crazy. Good. Like that, because Baeza doesn't get subs.
No. 2 really good sub, or at least 1 really good ground guy in Bilal Muhammad. But yeah, Baeza with the submission there over Sato really makes me happy going from the Nelson side. He does, Takashi Sato only given up over 90 once in his career. But I honestly think this is going to be twice. I think Nelson is going to get an early takedown, and that is all it is going to take. There's no getting up from Sato unless he somehow lasts until the end of the first round. But I just think Nelson brings us to the ground, takes the back, gets the rear naked choke. Big win and a notoriously huge smile from Gunnar Nelson with his victory. I love him at 92, and I will have him rostered in a bunch of lineups. What do you got for this one?
Yeah, I not much to add there. I mean, the sub prop at -125 is not bad. I have the round 2 sub at +350, but man, I will tell you, I am not confident in this fight like everybody else is. I again, much like Pavlovich, he's got a 2.5-year layoff that always it worries me because some guys are just slow getting out of the gate. That's why I went the round 2 sub, but some guys are just slow getting out of the gate. I mean, and you never really know. And look, he was supposed to be.
I think
I did not know that. I did not know that, but that's crazy. 20-1 is nuts. Yeah, this is one out of all the chalky favorites. This is I don't know that I trust Nelson like you do. I don't know that I bet Sato.
Want to trust.
Right. I'm not going to get to the window with Sato at all. No. But I'm not, other than that round 2 sub, which I went like super light. I'm just something about like my instincts are just something's telling me like this is that one weird fight where everybody's chalky parlays bomb. As Cody Safdie would say, this would be the apple pie shitter of the night.
Yeah, and it really could be, man. That 2.5 years off is pretty scary. I just think his game, that aspect of Gunnar's game is probably the best aspect of either fighter's game in this fight. So I'm hoping he kind of centralizes on that. But we will see. Yeah, I mean, I'll have him in a bunch of lineups probably. I mean, I still like Toperia better. But, man, wouldn't it be nice to see Gunnar Nelson come out and get an early sub? I don't have anything against Sato, but
I don't like the name Gunny either. That's like, does he play hockey? Like where everybody in hockey is like their nickname is their last name, like Jonesy and
Jonesy.
Like, like Gunny. Come on, dude. Like that's like low on my like, because like when I first got into this sport, like clearly you bet on the guy with. Well, I have a list that.
The better nickname.
Guys in chat. No, well, it's like the first thing was like, is he Brock Lesnar? And then it was nickname, and then it was crappy tattoos, and then it was chest hair. And if everything was a push, then you just don't bet the fight.
Oh. Eric is a boy after my own heart.
Gunny sack.
I love it.
This is one like kind of, another thing is if he is I know with Pimblets after him, but if you make Nelson the last leg of a chalky parlay, you get a very easy hedge. You could very easy hedge out here. If you want to take that, yeah. Gunnar ver Gunnarsson.
Gunnar son.
So I got nothing more to add to that. Let's get to what I guess a lot of people are going to watch this for.
True. I mean, one of the worst nicknames I've ever seen, and I will not retract that statement. Patty the Batty Pimblet.
Oh, come on, man.
No. His nickname has the haircut to match. Going against Rodrigo Kazula Vargas. You can go ahead and start this one off, Lou. 9,400 for Pimblet, the highest salaried guy on DK. What do you think about that?
I got nothing on this one. I mean, this is a Pimblet showcase.
Yeah.
But the only thing I would say is I think a lot of people are they have short memories and they're going to go with the knockout prop. And like I see the sub. I think he's going to showcase his grappling. I think that, he's not going to try to win in 30 seconds either, which, I mean, he could. But I feel like this is him just enjoying the adulation of the crowd. I think he gets it down. I think there's some ground and pound. I think he wraps him up in a choke. I think this is round 1 sub. If you want to play the round 1 prop, that is okay as well. I believe that was plus 110. If I'm not mistaken, I'm pulling it up right now. Plus 120. He could take a little longer, but I just think Pimblet. I mean, he's outclassed him everywhere. The one thing we're going to worry about with Pimblet is the chin looks like, he doesn't defend well. But man, Venturini, got him square. And I remember that was the beginning of like an amazing parlay I hit with one of my buddy in chat. I was watching it with him. It was Roundtree, like in the distance when he hit the oblique kick. And it ended with, no joke, and it ended with Brunson round 3 sub on Till.
No shot.
And my buddy I said, dude, if I hit this, you got to go to the bar. And he's like, okay, well, it's 22-1, sure. And he locks him up. I'm like, you ready?
Put your fucking shoes
couldn't
on.
believe, and I mean, it was an insane parlay. Like, and I was like, I think I had like $2 on it because that was 22-1. I'm like, all right. And I was big on Brunson in that spot. I don't think highly of Till's anything. I like his friend. I like his friendship with Smash. That's appealing to me. But I got nothing more on this one. Pimblett should just roll him in the first. Like, sorry for the lack of expert analysis on this one, but you've probably been hearing it all week, and I can't give you a hot take on Vargas.
Yeah, I don't know what to do here. I don't want to play Paddy Pimblett on DraftKings. I don't like playing the highest salaried guys. I just don't. It's kind of a principle thing. But, I mean, 6.58 points a minute against Vendramini. How do you ignore that? He scored 119 points. How do you ignore that? The one thing, Kazula Vargas has a perfect chindex in the UFC. 0.00 has yet to be knocked down. And who is he fighting? Alex Da Silva, Brock Weaver, and Rong Zhu. So, nobody really known for putting guys down, so to speak, but still never been knocked down in the UFC. I want to fade Pimblett, but that might be stupid. I just don't know. I probably could see myself rostering Vargas in a few percentages of GPP lineups just to save on salary, obviously, and the fact that Pimblett did kind of get rocked against Vendramini. Now, Vargas does have no knockdowns in the UFC so far, but he does have 7 KO/TKO wins in his professional career. So he does have that ability somewhere inside of him. But like I said, I just think fading Paddy Pimblett could be stupid this week. So with that said, I'll probably be slightly under the field. I assume he's going to be one of the highest owned fighters on the entire card.
Absolutely.
So I will definitely be under the field. 20 to 25%, I guess I'm comfortable with around there. So in my opinion, that's not too much, but it's not too little. I mean, there's still guys like Toperia, hopefully Gunnar Nelson with an early finish. Maybe a guy like Pavlovich with an early finish as well could help you alleviate some of that those points that you won't get if you don't roster Pimblett. But I just think it's going to be stupid to fade him this week. So I got to have a little bit.
If you, I'm no DFS expert, unless it was just my own show, and then I'd be the best DFS guy on a one-person show. But
yeah,
I know that like you have to take a stand against a favorite at some point in one of your lineups just to get different.
Right.
I've been seeing some love for Vargas because of his salary relief, like knowing you could go like the stars and scrubs approach.
Yep.
But I mean,
how likely?
Like Vargas's floor for this fight is 0 points. Like his floor is literally nothing. Like Sato has a higher. Like Sato could land some punches before a takedown. Vargas may not. But I mean, it depends. Like, and I don't know. I like the bet, but like, and there will be a time very soon to fade him. But it does seem like they're picking his opponents perfectly to bring him along.
Yep, exactly. And that's the other reason when I started thinking about it, like, this is a gimme fight. This is a show-off fight for Pimblett. Like, if he comes out and loses this, that is a true pie shitting moment. I mean, the definition. So I really don't think that's going to happen. You got to play some Vargas, obviously, to get that salary relief, like you said. But, man, I hate being over the field or even on par with the field on the highest salaried guy. It's like Amanda Nunes and Muhammad Ankalaev and all these guys every single week. It's just they generally do not pay off their salary, and that's just how it is. I don't know. So I will be lower than the field, I think. But, yeah, taking an absolute stand against Paddy Pimblett, probably not the brightest move.
Not this event.
Not yet. Wait to fade him.
Although if Vargas wins, you probably just knocked out 90% of the field.
That is very true. Maybe even more than that. Your boy coming in with some facts. I love it.
But hey, guess what? That's the boy that had to go to the bar because Brunson won by round 3 sub. So he knows it.
Shout out. Arnold Allen, co-main event going against Dan Hooker. I'm going to go ahead and let you start this one off. I don't have much to say about it. What do you? I mean, I love this fight. I will be watching every second. I won't have much in DraftKings. What do you got for this?
I'm going to take Hooker decision plus 200. I don't see a finish either
I
way.
love it.
And really, like, it's so close. I mean, Allen's going to be the better grappler, but let's take the Makhachev fight out of like Hooker's. Let's remove that one because that was just weird circumstances around it.
Yeah.
Hooker's takedown defense isn't bad. And he goes for takedown. I mean, he was taking down Haqparast too. I'm not saying that's like, it's not like some world-class wrestler, but Hooker has it in his back pocket. Does he have it enough? Like, Allen's the better wrestler. But to me, the difference between Hooker on the feet and Allen on the feet is more pronounced than the ground advantage. I think Hooker can keep it on the feet for the majority of the fight. I think at some point he will get taken down. Maybe he spends the last 2 minutes of a round down there, and maybe it looks bad for the judges. But I think for the most part, Hooker's going to tag him and keep it on the feet. My big thing that swings it for me is if you look at Allen's fight history, the guy just doesn't fight a lot. He's fighting like once a year, and that just troubles me. It seems like, and not only that, but like it seems like he only fights in one region of the world. Like this guy just doesn't really get his name out there. Like, and when I see that, I just think, is the guy a truly committed professional? I don't know that he is or he isn't. So this is not like a knock on his professionalism. To me, though, fighting once a year is not getting you anywhere in a division. Right. In a stacked division, it's not getting anywhere. So it's a curious move that Hooker's moving back down. The guy looks like granite. I mean, he looks unbelievable. You know, all those pictures early in the week. Oh man, Hooker looks so bad. I'm like, okay, cool. Drive the line down. Excellent. Like, thank you.
And then you see him standing next to each other, and Hooker looks incredible against Allen.
Yeah, so I'm just gonna look. This is and you know, if this is an odds play too, I think if Hooker was minus 150, then I'd have to consider Allen here. But Hooker decision plus 200 if he gets a knockout. Oh well. But I think the decision's his path. I know the crowd typically for a fight like this, you would worry about the crowd rooting the hometown guy, but Hooker is like crazy popular. Yeah. So I mean, look, I don't see it being overwhelmingly like night. This isn't going to be like Patty Pimblett coming out there, like fighting for like justice. This is going to be two guys. This is going to be two guys the crowd likes. I think it'll be close to 50-50 split fan support. I don't think it'll sway the judges. It really just depends. If Hooker keeps it on the feet for 10 minutes of this fight, he wins 2 rounds easily, if not all of them. Exactly. Yeah, and if you have Allen here, I understand it because if he does get the takedowns early and often, he's going to look like a minus 300 favorite.
100%.
But Hooker can play the wrestling game and at least, you know, I know Chandler got him out of there, but Hooker has been fairly durable.
79% takedown defense from Dan Hooker.
Yeah, which is, and like, you know, like the Makhachev fight's only one takedown, but he's not fighting a lot of guys that go for takedowns either. Allen will be going for takedowns, but I think on the feet, Hooker's got the advantage. It's going to be a great fight either way. And if you're on the Allen side, I get it. I couldn't resist taking the Hooker decision at plus 200. The Hooker decision, by the way, is a phrase I never hope I use again. It sounds like something that Barry Zuckerkorn would say from Arrested Development. I did not know that woman had 2 jobs. It was the Hooker decision.
Fantastic. Hooker decision is a combination of words that is very funny. I will give you that. As far as DraftKings, I'm going to have to make my own Hooker decision here and probably only roster Dan Hooker. Arnold Allen, I think he has a good chance of winning this fight. The size is crazy to me, though. Seeing them face off today really kind of put things in perspective. Uncle Weezy. Barry is very... Gene Parmesan! Ah! Arnold Allen, only 2.26 points per minute. 66 points when he wins, guys. That stat alone, over 8 wins. How could you possibly put him in your roster? Now, he is only $8,000. So if you are of the mindset that you think he's going to come out, wrestle fuck Dan Hooker, get a ton of takedowns, then you absolutely play him in your lineups. I personally don't see it that way. Arnold Allen never has yet to score over 90 points in any of his 8 UFC wins. I've never seen that stat with that many UFC fights before. 0 points over 90. He scores only 1.3 striking per minute and then, 0.79 points on the ground. So it's not 0, but it's not overwhelming, right around top 10, top 12 on the card. Dan Hooker, much higher pace, much longer reach, 100 points per win. I mean, I will only be rostering Hooker here. I just cannot roster Allen, even though I kind of, like I said, like him to win the fight, and I will be glued to my flat screen for this one. This is one of my favorite fights of the entire card. But like I said, Allen just does not have the pace that we need to get ourselves on the optimal lineup. So give me Dan Hooker, 8,200. I'll have a decent piece of him, maybe 20, 25%, something like that. I'm not going to be going crazy, but I will likely be under or over the field on Hooker and well under the field on Arnold Allen.
I'm looking at this fight log from Allen, which I hadn't looked at to this point because I wasn't considering him. I mean, his scores and wins are crazy, horrific.
Who's this? Allen?
Yeah, 69 against Youssef, 59 against Lentz. Winning with 59 points is very hard to do.
Dude, he won with 42 against Rinaldi. How is that even possible?
Yeah, this is not a guy that it says 57, but that's with a knockdown. That's crazy. Maybe they went back and adjusted that because it was years ago. But yeah, that's almost like his winning points is almost impossible to do, and he does it consistently.
It's crazy. Like he's somehow
if you just looked at that and didn't know the result, you'd be like, oh, he got smoked.
He lost every fight. Yeah.
You think he was 0-10. He's no Johnny I'm gonna Winsky.
Not quite. Not yet.
It might be Jordan, by the way. I forgot, but
we are on the main event of the evening, guys. Once again, for the last time, I swear, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to the MMA Engine. We've got so much coming your way, especially in the next few weeks. So get on it. Alexander Volkov going against Tom Aspinall. Heavyweight main event. I'll go ahead and start this one off. These guys are very appropriately priced. You're going to be able to get to either one, and you're going to be able to get to a lot of them, which I will probably be doing. Aspinall, the much better GPP play, in my opinion, the tournament play. 6.17 points a minute, only allowing 1 point back at him. I mean, come on, that's a differential of 5.15. Scores 108 when he wins. He is $800 under his average salary. Can you believe it? In fact, both of these guys well under their average salary. Volkov does not score as much or as prolifically as Aspinall, 2.87 points per minute. Only 85 when he wins, but he does give up 112 points per loss. Keep that in mind if you're on the Aspinall side. This is going to go one of two ways, in my opinion. Aspinall, early finish, first, second round. That's pretty obvious to think that could be a possibility. Otherwise, Volkov, I think the longer this goes, I don't necessarily think he wins the fight by decision, but I think if it goes to decision, Volkov has a better chance of being the victor. We just don't know what Tom Aspinall's cardio is like. He's got a whopping 11 minutes of fight time over 4 fights in the UFC, averaging 2.75 per fight. So we just don't know what this guy's capable of as far as cardio goes. I am going to be pretty heavy on both sides. Aspinall, obviously, for the early KO, early finish upside, even submission possibilities here, with Volkov being submitted twice in his career. But Volkov, I think, is just super tough. Obviously, the hardest fight of Aspinall's career. I tend to think this goes to decision, and either guy could really score decently, especially for cash, if it goes to decision. So give me Aspinall and GPPs. Give me Volkov and cash and a little bit of GPP. But these two salaries here, 79 and 83, fantastic. The fifth best salary pair to play overall, 58.33% of the time. The winner makes the optimal lineup. Pick somebody. This is a heavyweight fight. You got to play it. Pick one of them and roll with them in your lineups. Mix it up a little bit. I don't blame you for either one. What do you got on this one, Lou? Heavyweight main event.
So what's Volkov's nickname?
What's Volkov COVID news? What is that? He has COVID? Is this official? I appreciate it, Ilmac. Can we get a second on this? Volkov's nickname, Drago.
Drago. Okay, I just wanted to get that out of the way from the Ultimate Fighter. So here's the thing with Volkov. Let's start with Volkov. He's proven he can go 5 rounds. I know he's losing to Gane. He's been knocked out once in 8 years, almost 9 years now. That's the Derek Lewis, which is no shame in that. The dude can take punches. Now, the Gane fight, he didn't take a lot of punches. That was kind of not thrilling to watch. But, I mean, he beat Overeem. Like, he lost to Blades when he got, wrestle fucked to death, which I understand. Aspinall is a very unique challenge. And look, I get what people are high on him. This is such a tough fight. The thing is this is what I'm going to ask. Can you see Volkov getting a late finish? Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you see Volkov winning a decision?
Yes.
Can you see Aspinall knocking him out?
Yes.
Can you see Aspinall winning a decision?
No.
So there you go. So in my mind, and this is a really tough fight these are nervous bets. These are very nervous bets to make. If 2 of the 3 win conditions happen to favor Volkov in this, I'm going to side with him and not only that, but like this, it's crazy. Not crazy that the line has swung on Aspinall's. He's very visually appealing to watch, very handsome. People love seeing finishes.
Very good hands.
He showed that he can try to go for submissions if it's not working for him in the feet or he's tiring. I think he's nicely well-rounded and he's a future potential champ, but I think Volkov's Volkov's a very hard guy to get out of there. And I think if he can weather the storm the first round, everybody's just assuming Aspinall's going to run in there head first and like try to knock him out in 5 seconds. I'm not saying he won't, but I don't know why we're assuming that's the narrative. It's a 5-round fight.
Yeah, he has to go 5.
He's going to try to, I don't think there's a quick finish here. I think he's going to try to pace himself. So I'm siding with Volkov. I'm playing Volkov round 3, round 4 at 10-1. This is another one of the situations where the over-under is set at 3.5 rounds. So Vegas is okay at setting these numbers.
Yep.
And I know this didn't work last week for me with Ankalaev, but if I see that round 3, round 4, that I can wrap it around what the line is, I like it. And at 10-1, if Aspinall does tire, Volkov hits hard. Volkov is not like some lightweight masking as a heavyweight. Like this guy has bulked up over time. He's comfortable with the weight, never has issues with it, and he can move. He moves crazy well for a guy. I think his defense is good too. His striking defense is solid. So I'm taking Volkov. But this is going to be one of those bets where, like, if I lose it, it's because it was really exciting for like 3 minutes.
Yep.
So I can live with it.
It's because it would be because Aspinall, A, is the real deal, B, has some of the quickest hands in the heavyweight division, and C, has the power that is legit. Those will be the 3 things that we will know if Aspinall gets the early finish over Volkov, because this is a huge test for him. Again, one of these guys I was all over at the beginning of the week, but the more I think about it and the more smart people I listen to throughout the week, I just don't think it's going to be as clear cut. And like you said, why would we think he would come in here and just try to bum rush Volkov? That would be a terrible game plan, in my opinion, most likely. So that said, guys, we did it, Lou. All 12 fights. We nailed it, man. I feel like we kind of flew through. I do love, let's see, actually for my DraftKings show, or not my DraftKings show, the Pub Sports DraftKings show that I happen to be on with Wheezy, Luke, and Brady here. Sorry, I'm just looking for something.
The company except me.
Yeah, exactly. You're there in spirit. So this is the lineup I've been going, and I just want to show this because we did mention stars and scrubs earlier, and that's. I'm not going to go full stars and scrubs, but I got a lot of expensive, 3 expensive guys and a few $7,000 guys. So that's kind of the way I'm looking. I love the wrestling upside this week. Here are my quick picks. I won't read them. You guys can take a look if you missed the Wednesday show. This Cody Durden pick is Computer Monk saying Durden's going to win, but I have no stats for Makayev. So it's all the stats for Durden against a big 0.
Right. He beat the creative fighter.
Yeah, exactly. So I personally think Makayev will win this fight. Fuck Cody Durden, and I'm saying it publicly. The only other underdog I have is Jack Shore. So other than that, guys, we did it. Lou, tell them where the people can find you and what you got going on coming up in the near future.
Find me at Lou Betya on Twitter. So the site right now is in beta testing with the group, and hope to be live in 13 days. I will not push the site on a Friday. That is bad development juju. I will not push it on April 1st unless, like Johnny Parsons says, I want you to push the site on April 1st, and then I will do whatever Mr. Parsons tells me. But very close, guys. We're knocking on the door of having everything live, and I'm really excited to show you guys some of the cool tools. I will probably be doing a under the hood this upcoming week.
Nice.
As far as what some of the user can expect. Basically, like, why should you pay a membership and how we're giving you, like, no joke, so much more than other sites for so much less.
For sure.
So, oh shit. Well, I confused my my Welshman. Now watch, Mason Jones might not even be Welsh.
I was gonna say something, but you were rolling, so I was like, "Oh,
look, it's just all these Welshmen. Like, look, I watch World Cup soccer. Aside from Gareth Bale, all these Welshmen,
I know him. I know that one.
They all confuse me, these Welshmen. So, sure, Jones. They're both like,
yeah, they're the same guy.
They're the same. It's the same guy. Yeah, come on, it's the same guy. He's just doubling his salary by fighting more frequently.
Yeah, have you ever seen him in the same room? I haven't.
Yeah, dude.
I'm with you, Lou. You guys can find me on Twitter at MonkMMATics. Right below. I used the right hand this time, Lou. I'm getting better. At MonkMMATics. Search that name also on YouTube, and you can find my game theory videos, which come out every Tuesday at 2:30, where I go over all fights from a DraftKings perspective, very stat heavy. As I mentioned before, find me on the Pub Sports Radio channel with the boys, Luke, Wheezy, and Brady, doing our Wednesday DraftKings show. That is Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Central Time. And then, only other thing, MMA Engine, guys. Stay tuned to the channel. Be sure to be subscribed to the channel to keep up with everything we have coming your way, which is a lot. I'm sure Brady will be putting out another video, I think, anyways, on the MMA channel before we get going tomorrow. If not, check out Best Bets coming from him and Uncle Wheezy before the card jumps off. So, guys, that's all I got for you.
Early start time. Just remember that, guys.
Yeah, early start time.
1:30.
It was 12, but now it's 12:30.
Well, look, the East Coast time is all that matters, Monk. No offense. It's 1:30.
Oh, well, 1:30.
1:30 East Coast.
That's right. So be sure to get your lineups and your bet slips in early, guys. Do that shit tonight so you can sleep in a little bit. Maybe have yourself an English breakfast. I don't know what they eat. They eat beans for breakfast? I don't know, but
they ate some weird shit.
Don't eat beans for breakfast. Have an American breakfast.
Toast and beans.
American. Yeah, no beans for breakfast. Dude. So anyways, guys, I don't know what I'm rambling about. Thanks for joining us. And as usual, I want all of you to enjoy the fights. So enjoy. We will see you next time. Thanks.